What's up, guys? We are in week 10 of off-season training. This is my deadlift day for the week. It is the one directly following last week's failure at 590. So I definitely went into this day with a little bit of a vendetta against deadlifting. Um, After kind of going home and watching my film from last week and just really trying to break down my technique and see where it could be more efficient, um, I I kind of spent the whole last week obsessing over how to improve and how to clean up my technique even more. And one of the things that I was coming across is as I was watching just videos of some of the top conventional pullers and just maybe different techniques, was the idea of having some slight rounding up and through the thoracic spine, similar to how Konstantinov's pulls. So I watched a lot of his videos. I found a couple of different articles that explain some of the leverage advantages of having a slightly rounded upper back, especially with shortening the moment arm between the hips and the bar by bringing them closer to. One of the things that I learned is that by slightly rounding the back, I can bring my hips probably anywhere from 3 to 6 inches closer to the bar, which improves my leverages and makes it easier to drive power from the hips up into the deadlift. Part of this form also involves not necessarily looking up with my head, but almost looking a little bit more down. I'm really extending the arms forward to create tension through the upper back in a round position rather than extending the chest like I normally do. So my goal for today was to play around with this technique. I still wanted to come in and hit my prescribed 3 sets of 3 at 520, but even more than that, what I was focused on was trying to apply some of these principles that I've been reading and watching and studying about for the last week. So that's why I had so many warm-up sets there. I was really trying to find a groove with where to have my hip height and how exactly to sequence my bracing and everything before I initiate the pull. As you can see, these are moving a lot smoother than last week. My hips are starting a little bit higher. Because of that rounded back position, the bar is actually in line with the back of my shoulder rather than the shoulder joint itself, or even just a straight line from the arm. And that ends up actually making the drive off of the floor a little bit more powerful. It's not so much explosive in that I'm bracing and then ripping the bar off the ground, but I'm not seeping energy through the upper back by having my position start in an extended flat back position and then having it round slightly, or having the shoulders roll forward slightly as I apply pressure into the ground to initiate the pull. So definitely a little bit more efficient of a movement pattern. I think the explosiveness will come as I use it more frequently, but it was definitely interesting. It's not something that I've ever tried before. I'm not even saying that I would recommend this for someone who can't already correctly deadlift with a neutral spine, keeping their back flat and everything like that. But because I don't normally have an issue with keeping my back flat, I think it's interesting to play around with this more advanced technique. So these felt pretty good. I learned another lesson here on the speed deads. Because I just wanted to be a little bit more efficient, I threw the chains over the center of the bar. Plus I was like, it'll minimize some of the whippiness of having the weight set out on the outside. What I did not factor in is that when you throw 40 pounds of boat chain over the center of a bar and then try and explosively pull it up, you sack tap yourself with 40 pounds of boat chain, and that is uncomfortable. So keep your chains on the outside of the bar, or maybe pull sumo, or I don't know, be a eunuch. But that's kind of why those didn't get fully locked out, because on the first set I ended up driving boat chain into my testicles and it hurt. So followed that with the power shrugs at 360 that you just saw there. I rotated in a sumo deadlift just because I don't necessarily want to lose that technique and I want to have the extra work on the hips. So rather than hitting a stiff leg today, I went with a sumo. I think next week I'll either keep the sumo or maybe rotate in a deficit pull, just so I can work on that speed from the bottom. But the sumos definitely felt good today. This is my second set at 410 pounds. I could really feel myself having to drive with the legs more than when I was pulling sumo before. Um, my quads are actually a little bit sore right now, actually, from having done these, but got the weight moving really well. While I was watching some deadlift videos this week, I also noticed that a lot of the top sumo pullers tend to snap their knees pretty aggressively, um, kind of as soon as they can, and then lock out with the hips afterwards. So that's something I was talking with my coach about several weeks ago, but I'd kind of cycled the sumo pulls out. So I played around with that technique more today as well, and it did definitely feel more efficient. So this is my top set of 450 pounds for 5. Um, Pulling everything dead stop right now just so I can get more practice with that first pull. Definitely makes a big difference between that and then pulling touch and go reps, which are a lot easier. But these felt really good. I followed my sumo pulls with a Pendlay row. I did 3 sets of 5 here at 320 pounds. This is basically like a dead stop explosive barbell row. After I hit these, I just finished up with some really heavy seated cable rows, and then some ab wheel rollouts for abs. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click like and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so already, connect with me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're interested in any of the programs that we offer here at the gym, check out our website at www.savagegym.com.